Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris of the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, pushback from the Dominica Freedom Party on the Prime Minister's call for unity at Sunday's National Gospel Concert. Scotiabank Dominica to be acquired by Trinidad-based Republic Financial Holdings. And Electoral Office warns those filing objections to the electors list that failure to adhere to proper procedure will nullify their submissions. The details coming up.
Stay connected and share your favorite holiday moments with Flow. Get the Alcatel A1 for $199 when you activate an extra-large prepaid combo plan, or the Samsung J4 for just $399 with a large postpaid plan, and get free talk evenings and weekends. Plus, get free WhatsApp on large and extra-large prepaid combo plans and sign up for any new service for a chance to win cash or hampers every week. So make it Flow for everything mobile this Christmas. Terms and conditions apply. Visit discoverflow.co for more.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001 275-5003 today.
Leader of the Dominica Freedom Party is pushing back on the Prime Minister's appeal for unity to build the country. Prime Minister Skerry told Dominicans at Sunday's National Thanksgiving Gospel Concert that all hands should be on deck in rebuilding a resilient Dominica. But not everyone is supporting that call. The leader of the Dominica Freedom Party is one of them.
This Labour Party government does not have the moral authority to call the nation to worship or to give thanks unless they are willing to openly repent. As for that matter, while we as Dominicans appreciate very much the Ministry of Finance, the intention of the government in organizing the concert was by no means a good spiritual one. It was clearly a political intention. As for that matter, it is our understanding that the Prime Minister had intended to announce the general elections during the concert, but that the gospel artists did not want that to happen.
Senior Counsel Anthony Astvan released this statement in response to the DFP leader's statement.
When I listened to the leader of the Dominica Freedom Party struggle through a rather simplistic and shallow statement, that by itself to tell you that it is just complete and absolute nonsense. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, the cabinet, the institutions of government have been under savage, partisan and subversive attack, and attacks of misinformation and falsehoods, including from the leader of the Freedom Party, the leader of the Dominica Freedom Party, and those who gather on the particular radio station to incite violence. So we have had numerous incidents of violence that I believe were instigated by the opposition, especially the opposition, United Workers' Party opposition. But the truth is the Prime Minister has called for unity on more than one occasion. He actually put his money where his mouth is with the unity cabinet, including elected parliamentarians after Erica. That turned out to be a dud, or that failed, simply because the Prime Minister could not get any constructive cooperation or work from the members of the United Workers' Party. And so when the Prime Minister speaks of unity, as he did at the Christian concert, he was talking to Dominicans. That may include the political leaders, but the Prime Minister's call for unity was not directed at Mr. Vital or Mr. Linton, because these guys are bent on political mischief with their constant systematic lying, and in the case of the United Workers' Party, subversive actions and words and misinformation to undermine the country. So I would tell Mr. Vital that he and Mr. Linton should safely ignore the Prime Minister's call, because they're not interested in nationalism or nation building, that the Prime Minister was speaking to all of us, that the time has come for all of us the non-political part of the population to work together and to join him in rebuilding the country that since Maria has made significant strides.
Scotiabank will soon be operating under new ownership. Trinidad-based Republic Financial Holdings has entered into an agreement to acquire Scotiabank's banking operations in Dominica and 8 other Caribbean countries. The other countries include Guyana, St. Martin, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Chairman of RFLH, Ronald Hatford, is reported as saying this acquisition represents another milestone for Republic Group. All impacted employees of Scotiabank in the 9 countries will join the Republic Group. Republic says the purchase price is $123 million US. This represents $25 million US for the total shareholding of Scotiabank Anguilla Limited. The other $98 million US accounts for the net value of operations in the remaining 8 countries. The Chief Elections Officer, Ian Michael Anthony, wants electors to follow the procedures prescribed in the law when filing objections. The deadline for submitting objections was the 19th of September. This means the electors' list to be posted in various polling districts has been finalized. The lists will eventually be handed to the registering officers, who will in turn present them to the assistant registering officers for display within polling districts across the country. Regarding objections, Anthony says they are not valid unless electors follow the ground rules or procedures set forth by the law.
There have been attempts to object as required by law, but not following the proper procedure. So at the end of the day, somebody submits a list of names, for example, and asks us to take action. However, the law is very specific as to what has to happen in terms of that objection. And the first thing is that it has to be in writing on a specific form, and that is Form 4, which gives the notice of objection. That objection has to go to the registering officer within the constituency, and it is filled out by the objector in writing, in his own handwriting. In fact, the law provides that if the objector cannot write, the witness will fill out the form on behalf of the objector. So that, 1, it goes to the registering officer. 2, the objector has to give us his name in full, his occupation and stuff, indicate the polling district that he's registered for. Include in the objection as well the name of the person being objected to and the grounds that the person is disqualified for inclusion in the list. The objector will date and sign the form, and as indicated earlier, a witness is required. Now that witness has to be an elector in the same polling district as the person who's been objected to. So if I could give a quick example, if I am objecting to the registration of Ian Smith in polling district N02, but the witness actually is somebody who lives in polling district A01, that wouldn't work. Both the objector, the witness, have to be in the same polling district. And of course, the witness would have to date and sign the form as well. And that goes to, as indicated earlier, to the registering officer, and then the process continues from there.
The public plays a key role in this process in terms of submitting its objections and claims, which help ensure an updated electors list. The University of the West Indies setting the record straight on its reparation discussion with the University of Glasgow in the United Kingdom. Andrea Louis has that story.
On Sunday, 25th November, an article was published in the Jamaica Gleaner with the headline, Glasgow University to pay reparations for £200 million extracted from the region. The article went on to say Vice-Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Sir Hilary Beckles, has reported that the University of Glasgow in the United Kingdom has agreed to pay £200 million, approximately 34 billion Jamaican dollars of value, in reparation payments to the UWI. According to Beckles, who recently returned from the UK, open quote, the University of Glasgow has recognized that Jamaican slave owners had adopted the University of Glasgow as their university of choice, and that £200 million of value was extracted from Jamaica and the Caribbean. End quote. He said that the University of Glasgow and the UE are currently drafting a memorandum of understanding, and the term reparatory justice is expected to be included. Beckles said the £200 million would be a combination of cash and kind. However, a press release from the UE Vice-Chancellor's office dated Monday, 26 November 2018, stated the UE has no agreement with the University of Glasgow for reparation payment. The press release further says the headline of the story, originally published in the Jamaica Gleaner newspaper dated November 25, 2018, was inaccurate. It was subsequently carried by other regional media outlets addressing the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Glasgow's admission that £200 million in fees, endowments and grants were received from Caribbean slave owners, and attributing reference to an agreement with the Vice-Chancellor of the UE to repay the said sum. That was also inaccurate. While the quoted content of the story is correct, the headline that suggests an agreement to pay £200 million to the UE is not. The universities are working through a memorandum of understanding built upon the principle of reparatory justice, but there is no agreement about the repayment of £200 million to the UE. The two universities have had excellent conversations about how the University of Glasgow can contribute to cleaning up the colonial legacies of slavery that are holding back the region. A working team has been established which has made many reparatory justice submissions but is yet to complete its deliberations. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
You're watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after the break.
Get ready to open the best gifts with Flow this Christmas. Sign up for a new broadband or TV service with free installation, or sign up for a broadband and TV bundle and get 40% off broadband for the first 2 months. Plus, get a chance to win a 55-inch smart TV, 1 year or 6 months of free service. Enjoy big-time entertainment and big speeds this Christmas with Flow. Terms and conditions apply. Visit discoverflow.co for more.
When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
$6,000 designated to equip the antenatal unit of the Princess Margaret Hospital. Dr. Mark Sorrento has donated $6,000 to the Ministry of Health and Social Services. He's a sports medicine physician working in Halifax, Canada. Dr. Sorrento is the son of renowned Dominican gynecologist obstetrician Dr. Bernard Sorrento. He says the funds were raised through a soccer game at his resident hospital and a GoFundMe account set up after Hurricane Maria.
And the funds we were able to raise then, and funds donated to us from people all over the world, really, who went to our GoFundMe fund. We were able to raise over $6,000. And as a result, we were able to contribute $6,000 to a medical relief fund here in Dominica. We thought that a single area of donation would probably be best. And although we had other thoughts, initially I think we zoned in on a perinatal gift, more specifically to the antenatal unit, possibly towards the purchase of a piece of equipment that was really needed. That will be determined by the ministry itself.
Dr. Sorrento plans to continue assisting the Ministry of Health and Social Services through the Boucher Foundation.
We've been trying to find a window in which we could come to Dominica, look at the situation here in terms of tertiary care, and make a contribution in terms of personnel, material, or supplies and equipment as a part of what the foundation has to offer. And in the short term, what we thought we'd do is have a meeting with the Ministry of Health. Essentially, what we thought we'd look at is bridging the gaps. So whatever gaps there are between where we think we need to go or need to be and where we are now, be it because of Hurricane Maria or just the developmental process, we hope to assist with bridging that gap.
Restoration work on 11 damaged emergency shelters scheduled to get underway before the end of the year.
The United States Agency for International Development, USAID, is funding this renovation project to the tune of $1.25 million under its Emergency Preparedness Through Shelters project. Team leader for the International Organization for Migration, IOM, which is spearheading this project, says a contractor is already on island surveying the works to be done.
The team is here, so we have a project manager from Greece with a lot of experience in emergency shelters there, so he's here. And we are teaming up with the Office of Disaster Management. So they're our counterparts, so we have very frequent meetings. We're now finalizing to determine exactly the work that we're going to do. So we know now, for instance, the toilet repairs or putting solar systems, solar power systems in the centers. Then we need to know exactly where do we put it, how much cable is required, how do we fit it, how do we make sure that the panels are strongly fitted on the roof. If something falls on it, that it's not breaking. Also, theft is something that we need to take care of, that it is well secured. Batteries are very valuable, so we're now making the details how to do that.
The IOM team leader says the renovation program will encompass more than just the physical refurbishment of the emergency shelters.
We expect that we start the repairs somewhere the coming month for that. But the program is more extended. It's not only repairs. We are also going to train all the shelter managers and people from the government and people that want to hear it or that are involved in the emergency shelters. We are working together with ODM on extensive broadcasting of preparedness messages. We are buying equipment and materials for the emergency shelters. Think of beds, mattresses, kitchen equipment, partitioning so that you have more privacy, generators. So that's what is currently ongoing. And the last bit is that we are going to support the government with an emergency shelter policy, where we define, or where we help to define what are the roles and responsibilities of the different government departments and the private sector.
To date, 270 people are living at 24 emergency shelters around the country. Wegdam says the IOM's plan is to help provide more long-term solutions to these living arrangements.
Teams are going to these centers to talk to all these people to see, hey, who are you, how are you doing, and the main purpose is to find a durable solution for that, and that's a technical term for a place where they can live forever. So that can be, maybe some people need their house fixed, maybe they don't have a house, maybe we build a house, or maybe we can rent a place. It can also be that maybe the family member says, okay, I welcome my sister or brother in the house, but I need an extension. It can be a ticket to the United States, to family living there. So we're trying to find tailored solutions for the people there.
The 11 emergency shelters down for renovation are the Siniku Preschool, Marigot Village Council Building, Wesley Resource Center, Kalibishi Resource Center, Glanville Community Center, Biosh Fisheries Complex, Maho Gospel Tabernacle Emergency Crisis Center, Forkole Community Center, Tarish Pit Community Center, and the Scottshead Government School.
And former press secretary under the Dame Eugenia Charles administration, Parry Belet, supports discussion around enacting suitable legislation to facilitate greater access to information for the local media. Dominica just recently celebrated 40 years as an independent democratic nation, and Parry Belet has been involved in the media in one capacity or another during these last 4 decades. In fact, he was one of 2 journalists here who received the Meritorious Service Award on Independence Day. DBS's radio news editor Curtis Matthew was the other recipient. Mr. Belet was asked how far he thought the local media had come over the years in terms of freedom of access to information legislation, which is key in any democracy. In older democracies, media outlets have laws which guarantee citizens the freedom and rights to request and obtain government information.
Because I know the potential of the press to abuse its position. I've seen that happen in Dominica, and I've seen that happen all over the world. But generally, I am, yes, for more access of the media to things happening, especially in government. Again, when the government say they don't want to talk about this and they don't want to talk about that, I understand why. And by the way, it's not only because of this government that I have that view. As I say, I know what's happening in the media, the talk shows and so on. And often, if the government says something about that and that, it's all over the talk shows, misinterpreted. It makes a bad situation worse. Sometimes I can understand why government is reluctant to give more information at the time. But the press, yes, is entitled to try and get the information. And if the government would say, for instance, pass a freedom of information law, I would not object, not at all. Dominica is a typically small society, and therefore everybody knows each other's business. And your point may be, well, we're hearing this rumor, that rumor, because it's a small society, but we want to get the document that establishes what are the facts, and sometimes we can't get it. My point is that often there's a guy who has the document and say, if I release it to you, sir, you make it public, and by the way, your level of education may be such that you misinterpret some of the things in the document. The misinterpretation is what gets the headlines, and the talk show people get all right. So he said, sorry, I'm going to keep it to myself. And I accept that logic to a point.
Dominica's constitution guarantees freedom of expression under the fundamental rights and freedoms, but Belet recommends that the issue of greater access to information be taken up at the level of the Dominica Media and Communications Association.
Perhaps so there could be more dialogue, and I'd hope the New Media Association, which I congratulate on its establishment, and I think it's doing a fine job, may start some regular consultation or have with some of the big boys in government and big boys with the business community and raise those issues. How can we have more access to information?
Belet believes, based on his decades of experience, the work of the local media is not at the level that he thinks it could be.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil. Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hot like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Rudolf Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolf Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolf Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolf Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. Pushback from the Dominica Freedom Party on the Prime Minister's call for unity at Sunday's National Gospel Concert. Scotiabank Dominica to be acquired by Trinidad-based Republic Financial Holdings. And Electoral Office warns those filing objections to the electors list that failure to adhere to proper procedure will nullify their submissions. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You may access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.